Hello all. Welcome to the episode 19th in hexadecimal of Debugging TV Frames program. You can type your questions during this episode. If I can't answer particular questions now, I then post answers on the website debugging.tv. So this year we resume our frames program and subsequent episodes. So Happy New Year. The topic of this short session is software trace and log visualization. Trace and log analysis patterns are based on the so-called software narratology, an application of literary narratology to software stories. I put a reference to software narratology presentation so you can download and view it later on. We have currently identified more than 60 analysis patterns, and there's an extensive reference and classification based on accelerated software trace analysis training we delivered last month. So I put a reference to it too, so you can download it later on. However, some of patterns benefit from effective visualization techniques and tools for their recognition because they are all humans and it's difficult to read traces and logs with millions of lines, millions of messages from thousands of threads, hundreds of processes, and so on. Today I mentioned two tools for log visualization. One is graphical Excel, Microsoft Excel, and another one are command line tools written by Evgeny Kirpichov. The latter tools were specifically designed with software log analysis in mind. However, in this episode we cover Excel only and come back to command line tools next time. When you get this presentation, you can look at this link for command line tools. I show just two examples of pattern detection. I use traces from Process Monitor from Microsoft, from sysinternals, thus modeling complex tracing environments. So the first example is the high message density, the ratio of messages from a module, a thread, or a process to the total number of messages in the trace. So this is a log from Process Monitor. Unfiltered. So I selected two columns, process name and process ID, and then created simple graph. So if we go back, so what we see here, we see plateau that belongs to one process ID highlighted by red oval. And also we see periodic message blocks from another process ID with a blue arrow pointing to it. So basically coming back, so what I I created a log in Process Monitor and then saved in comma separated values file and then loaded into Microsoft Excel and then created this graph. So we go to the next example. So another example where is discontinuities. We can identify in traces and logs. So basically there was a trace file and we were specifically interested in this process up to 2. And so we filtered by this process and loaded into Excel, exported into CSV file the result after we applied filter for specific process ID or process name, and then we loaded this file into Excel, and then what we did, we selected thread IDs column and plot simple graph. We go back, so there's some coloring. So we see some discontinuities, 2 discontinuities, one is pointed to by red arrows and the other by yellow arrow. So we also see one possibly spiking active thread, the long blue line, and notice another thread ID, the first one circled by green and thread ID pointed to by green arrow. This is actually thread ID that doesn't belong to application. This is thread from Explorer that used to create a process, a thread from parent process. So this is all for this demonstration, and next time I try to come up with more advanced examples, visualization examples. It's just the beginning. This is our usual add slide of forthcoming training sessions and free webinars. One webinar starts next week. It's about pattern-based software diagnostics. It's free. And also one webinar is coming in March about malware narratives. This is about application of software narratology to malware analysis. And so thank you for watching this episode. Please later check out the slides and recorded video from debugging.tv. The next episode should be on the 21st of January because we have pattern-based software diagnostics free webinar next Monday. So see you in 2 weeks and Happy New Year. I have one question I answer about Process Monitor Does it display messages of all threads in application? Yes, of course. So here's an example of one. So if we filter by specific, so we reset filter here, and what if we filter by specific process ID? One we interested in 4604. So we see all that different thread IDs. Of course, these are all Windows API functions or calls to drivers, everything like file access, registry access. So you see, so one thread is particularly active. It periodically writes to file. So that's why we see this particular line. You see this one. Okay, thank you very much, and Happy New Year. So I don't understand. Okay, so did I answer your question about a message sequence? Okay, and what is the second question? I don't understand about what is about a message sequence. So basically, of course, they are these messages are buffered, and sequentially, of course, they are executed one after another. So it should be like that, because they are delivered, intercepted by process monitor driver in the first count, first recorded manner, I believe. So again, thank you very much, and see you in 2 weeks. Thank you. Bye bye.